this week.
Finally made it to the Eastern Shore of Maryland. We got some shooters. Where the heck did that goose come from? Our relationship with Michael Day began several years ago when he and his mother and father came down from Maryland to our kennels to look at a young started dog named Harley. Not only did Michael acquire Harley that day, but we also acquired some new friends. And over the next couple of years, as the relationship began to grow, we had the opportunity to go to Canada and hunt with Mike and Michael on the prairie, and also to have them down to our place in West Tennessee. During this time, both Mike and Michael frequently invited us to come up and hunt their farm on the Eastern Shore. But as work and personal life would have it, we just never were able to make the trip. Then this year, when we started planning on where we were going to go and film for the Migration Nation, we realized that no waterfowling season would be complete without a trip to Chesapeake Bay and the Eastern Shore of Maryland. The crew rendezvoused at my house for the trip, and we all piled into one vehicle with the trailer hooked up behind it and sat out on a 20-hour non-stop journey from Dyersburg to Chestertown, Maryland. Michael was kind enough to let us nap as long as we could that morning. And when it came time to head out for the field, he went out ahead of us along with a local guide and good friend David Price and David's son Wayne. It's been a long trip to get here. We drove all night from West Tennessee, but we finally made it to the Eastern Shore of Maryland. You can already hear ducks and geese up in the sky. Looks like it's a very promising day. We've got a good strong wind. Clouds are going to break later on this morning. With a bunch of good friends, should be a really good hunt.
What's that?
He said my bead was crooked.
I've heard them all now.
That's what we came here for.
Take him. Go ahead.
See ya. Yeah, we killed him.
Take him, guys. Nice shot. Nice shot.
All right. That was textbook there.
Where are all these birds coming from, Michael?
Well, they come from the Sassafras River, the geese do, and Lloyd's Creek, and they move across, and a lot of the ducks hold up in that impoundment we have just a few hundred yards away.
How many acres of corn do you have out here?
Well, we've got probably about 140 acres total.
About 140 acres, yeah.
And we leave probably 6 to 10 acres of standing corn, and then we have an acre and a half impoundment.
So you're letting that part over there rest. We're not going to hunt over there until later on in the week because you want to keep the birds feeding in there, right?
What they do is they'll come early morning into the impoundment, and then they'll trade back and forth.
How long have y'all had this place?
I think my dad bought this farm when he was 18 years old. It's been a long time.
Later on up in the morning, we decided it was time to abandon the duck hunting and start really concentrating on bringing geese into our spread. Over the first couple hours that we were in the blind, we had really good shooting on the ducks. Knocked down 8 or 10 birds within the first hour.
Take them. Nice shot. Nice shot. Take him outside, take him.
We've been hunting this week with my buddy Michael Day, and this is his farm that he and friends and family hunt. But I also understand that if a fellow wants to come up here in this Chestertown area of Maryland, that you offer a guide service here on the Eastern Shore also, is that right?
That's correct.
And what's the name of your guide
It's
service?
Winter Farms Hunting. We specialize more in the Canadian goose hunting. We do duck hunting as well. We got ponds, rivers, creeks, bays, all types. The hunting that we have consists of from 5 counties. And within the 5 counties, usually we control a lot of land that we can move around.
So a guy can have a wide variety. I mean, you hunt over bean fields from hedgerows, you hunt in other blinds like this one around the area, and you also hunt out on Chesapeake Bay.
Right. We got hedgerow blinds. We do have pit blinds. Our blinds on the ponds are really blending very well to the backdrop of the hill or what have you. The birds have a tendency. We got a lot of ponds we do not shoot, so you keep the geese in the area. And when you got birds in the area, you always got some decent shooting.
Later on up in the morning, as the geese started to get up off of the fields, we decided it was time to abandon the duck hunting and start really concentrating on bringing geese into our spread. Like a lot of the old school guides there on the Eastern Shore, Michael's buddy David Price blows a Canada goose flute style call. It's a lot of work blowing one of these calls, but it was a real treat to sit there and watch David do it the way that they've been doing it for generations there around Chesapeake Bay.
Nice shot.
Yeah, y'all did really good on that. Guys, it is really turning on now.
Ella, heel.
There you go.
You're lucky. I was grabbing my gun.
I was gonna load it for you, David, because I knew that the load was and I knew how you are. I knew as soon as Jay Paul missed that third, you were gonna jump out and shoot it.
You know what? I forgot how much I've missed out with you guys too, brother. I mean, this
Get ready, guys. Get ready. Get ready. Straight up over top.
sit.
Get it?
Sit, yeah.
He didn't want to fly over the water.
Oh,
He
bet
wanted
you
to
don't.
land on the hill.
She didn't see it. She doesn't have any clue, does she?
She's got it.
She's got it? Oh, I didn't see her going. I didn't even see her go.
Nice shoot.
Bless her heart.
With several ducks in the bag and all of us limit out on geese, we decided it was time to call it a day, and we headed on into town to one of the local restaurants to see Bob and Mark off, who had to get back to work.
Oh, sir.
On the second day, rather than going back to the pond and taking a chance on shooting it out, we thought we'd do better if we went out into the field and hunted out of one of their ground blinds. So the next morning found us standing in waist-deep water in a flooded cornfield in the dark, throwing out double-duty decoys and getting ready for a duck hunt.
Yeah, that's a good start to it. I like starting out like that. Good shooting. Now take him down. Good job. Holy cow. We got some shooters down there. Where the heck did that goose come from?
We hadn't killed our full limit of ducks that morning, so we decided that the best plan was to change tactics, head back up to the house and get a bite of lunch, and go back to the impoundment and try to fill out the rest of our daily limit. On the second day, we hadn't killed our full limit of ducks, so we decided that the best plan was to change tactics, head back up to the house and get a bite of lunch, and go back to the impoundment and try to fill out the rest of our daily limit. The Day Farm is an active farming operation, but its main purpose is to provide a hunting area for Michael and the rest of the family. They leave a great deal of standing corn every year for both big game and waterfowl. In addition to that, they have an impounded cornfield that they flood for duck hunting and a couple of ponds they've outfitted with aerators to keep the water open even in extremely cold weather to make it inviting for the Canada geese of that area. This is a pretty interesting blind that we're in. David, it's my understanding that you built this blind, is that right?
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about it. I mean, it's not really a conventional blind on the ground, but it's not a pit either.
Well, the way we built this was we have so many people like to see the birds coming in. So when it's above the ground slightly, like on a pond like we got with the hill in the background and everything, when the birds toll in, they don't notice that this sticks up a little bit. So that's how we designed this blind.
Right. And now, I see the blind, it keeps a pretty low profile, and you've got, what is this? What's the material that you...
This is called blue stem sage.
We've got the other one across the way that when you block out the holes, you hardly even know it's there. It looks like just another bush sticking up.
That's all it does. It just, the way it's designed and all, it just looked like it's just more weeds or something, and the birds don't pay attention to it. You can stand up, it's still above your head, and you can stand and look out, and that's what most people want to see. The hunting is fun, but the best part is watching them birds coming in.
And everybody, I mean, whether you're the guy calling the birds or you're the guy sitting waiting to take a shot, everybody really likes to be in a position where they can see the birds work. That's one of the real joys of hunting.
That's right.
You couldn't picture it any more perfect, could you?
That's sure are pretty when they do that.
Yeah, they are.
Those two.
Channel.
That's a really nice shot. A tremendous day today. We've
Been hunting all day, mainly in this impoundment. We came out this morning. It started off great with ducks flying right at daylight, and just about every bird that we've shot today has worked perfectly in toward us, whether they were ducks or they were geese. Everything that we've taken's been right in the zone where you want that bird to come in there. Our final count's what, 23? 23 ducks and 4 geese, so I'd say that's a pretty successful hunt. We're gonna come back down to the pond in the morning. We're gonna see if we can do a little bit more.
Want to join the Migration Nation? Go to drakesmigration.com to find out how.